Testing, testing.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing.
Hello.
Okay, that works. Is that 1 or 5?
Welcome, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Sounds good. Good. My name is Shannon Boucher. I'm the Registrar of Voters, and I would like to welcome those of you who came tonight to listen to information that we have and provide us feedback on our election administration plan. So what we're going to do tonight, you have the agenda that was given to you. We're going to go ahead and Vanessa is going to give us some information about the format and flow of the meeting tonight. And then I'll come back to us and we'll introduce everyone up here that will be speaking or available, here to listen to your feedback. And again, thank you so much for taking the time out on a Friday night to come down and provide us some feedback. So I just do want to mention that you can also provide feedback to our office through our website. We've had our election administration plan up there viewable for several weeks, and we have a fillable form that you could do. So if you think of some feedback you'd like to give us after you leave, you can just go to our website and provide it through that method on the website. We also have forms here tonight or cards, so you can also leave us any written comments you'd like to leave. If you're not wanting to come up and speak about those comments later, just know that you have many options. So again, thank you for coming, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Just a couple of housekeeping things. The exits, there are 4. There's one over here that leads outside. These 2 lead to the hall, and then there's also this one that leads to the hall, and then you can go outside that way. Bathrooms are outside these doors to your left. And then in the back of the room, we have at our handout table over here, for those who haven't had a chance to read the EAP or you want a refresher, there are several copies available in the back. In our county service languages, there's English, Chinese, Spanish, Tagalog, Vietnamese, Khmer, Korean, Hindi, and Japanese. So feel free to review the binders, but we ask that you do not remove them from board chambers. There is information in the back tables on how to join our Language Accessory Advisory Committee and our Voting Accessibility Advisory Committee. VCA postcards that quickly explain the changes that VCA bring, and then comment cards. We ask that you fill out the comment cards before you come up to speak. 1 per topic, so we can separate the cards according to the discussion topics based on agenda time slots. And to keep this meeting on track, we'll have to move on to the next topic at the slotted time, and then if there's any time left over at the end, we'll circle back to the comments that were missed. Additionally, we have staff available in the back wearing their Voters' Choice shirts. If you have any questions that are outside of the scope of this meeting, they will be back there to assist you and answer any questions. And then just a couple of ground rules for the meeting in general. We're going to keep comments at 2 minutes. Please keep your comments nonpartisan. All comments must be relevant to VCA and the draft EAP, so we might omit questions that are not relevant to this discussion. Those can be answered by the staff that we have present this evening. Additionally, no applause or vocal expression of support or opposition to the comments made, and let's keep our electronics in silent mode. With that, we will begin our presentations.
Okay, so before our presentations, as I said, we'll go ahead and introduce staff here at the dais. If you'd like to start, Liz. Microphone. That's okay.
My name is Liz Oviedo, Election Division Coordinator for the Ballot Layout Division.
I'm Chen Xuye, GIS Analyst with GIS Mapping Division.
Alfred Gonzalez, vote by mail.
My name is Mike Fong. I'm with the Elections Logistics and Voting Systems Division.
My name is Paulo Cheng. I'm with Precinct Operations.
Matt Morales, Assistant Registrar of Voters.
Virginia Bloom, Assistant Registrar of Voters.
Eric Curhey, Public and Legislative Affairs.
Janora Davis, Voter Registration Division.
Eilena Hernandez, Administrative Services Division.
Okay, we'll now have the presentation for the VCA overview.
Hello, everyone. Today, we would like to present the new way we will all be voting starting March 2020. In 2016, California passed the Voters' Choice Act, which changes the way elections are conducted. With the Voters' Choice Act, or VCA, voters will be able to choose when, where, and how to vote. VCA is meant to make it easier for you, the voters, to cast your vote and make your voice heard. VCA will be implemented starting with the March 2020 presidential primary election. With VCA, every registered voter will receive their ballot in the mail weeks in advance. You will then have 3 choices in which to return your vote by mail or VBM ballot. Voters can use the provided postage-paid envelope and mail their ballot back. You can also drop it off at ballot drop boxes strategically placed in various locations around the county. If you prefer to vote in person, you may also visit any vote center within the county to cast your ballot. Approximately 120 vote centers will be located countywide, equipped with new voting machines and able to provide services such as conditional voter registration. Instead of being able to vote only at your assigned precinct, you can now vote at any of the approximately 120 vote centers that may be close to your home, your work, schools, wherever there's a vote center. And instead of just having an election day, it'll be more like an election week. Voting will be available at the vote centers starting up to 10 days before Election Day. Vote centers will also provide conditional voter registration services. If you were unable to register by the deadline, you can go to any vote center and conditionally register and vote that same day. The ROV will process your information, and if the registration is valid, the ballot will be counted. To help with the implementation of VCA, the Santa Clara County Registrar of Voters developed an election administration plan. The plan outlines how vote centers and ballot drop-box locations are chosen, how we are making voting more accessible, how we are providing language assistance for our county voters, and our plans to reach out to different communities to educate them about VCA. In order to develop this plan, we gathered input from you, our communities, so we could hear your concerns and address them to the best of our ability. Within the months of June and July, we held a total of 12 EAP consultation meetings. There were 2 general public meetings, 2 meetings that focused on accessibility concerns, and 1 meeting for each language community that we currently serve. Throughout these meetings, we heard your concerns and answered what questions we were able to at the time. We collected all your input and used it to help create the draft EAP. The EAP is a document that is built in collaboration with our community, which is why we need to hear your comments throughout this process. With each draft that we develop, we will be taking your feedback into account to make sure that we are addressing your concerns adequately. We have 2 public comment periods in which you can provide feedback. The first public comment period has just ended, and based on the comments we received then and during these 2 public hearings, an amended draft will be published. After the amended draft has been published, there will be 1 more public comment period before we send a final draft to the Secretary of State for approval. Your input is extremely invaluable to finalizing our election administration plan. Please, let us know what you think. Together, we can make 2020 a success. For more information, please visit our website at sccvote.org/voterschoice. The draft EAP is posted there for your reference. You may also leave any feedback on the EAP website using the online feedback form. If you prefer, you may also download a feedback form and return it to us through mail or email. You may also email us at voterschoice@rov.sccgov.org. Please follow us on social media for more updates on the EAP and VCA in general. We will now hear a little more about what is included in the EAP.
Hello again. My name is Alfred, and I'm here from Vote by Mail Division. So I'm going to be talking about BBM pockets, official ballot drop box, and vote remote accessible vote by mail. Okay. So since 2018, total registrations of Santa Clara County is close to 900,000 registered voters, and our vote by mail is actually close to 700,000 already. So you're looking on a 78% vote by mail. We'll say, about 80%. Regarding the Voter Choice Act, the implementations to vote by mail, every registered voter will receive a vote by mail ballot countywide in the county now. And drop box will be issued for every 15,000 registered voter. So that will be the difference between the new vote centers of VCA, Voter Choice Act. So here we have a sample of our BBM pockets. For the regular vote by mail, they'll be receiving in their mail this envelope, and inside this envelope return, the pockets they'll receive a blue return envelopes. All the return envelopes are postage paid, and if you notice, there's a hole in the middle of the envelopes that indicates double purpose for the voter and for the ROV employees or registered voters employees. First is it helps us identify the voter if they inserted their ballots inside the envelope. And the second is it helps the visually impaired voters knowing where to start of signing, which is right on the red X, and when they're going to end. So it's a double purpose for our voters. And this is the sample of our official ballot. And with official ballots, we have the instructions and, and our favorite I voted stickers with it. And this is the mailings that we're going to be receiving for our military or overseas voters. So inside these mailings, it consists of return envelopes for the voters, and the official ballots, and instructions for the military overseas, and fax cover sheets. If they decided to fax their ballots, they have to fill these forms out. Okay. Next topic will be the vote by mail, official ballot drop box. We have right now, we have been recruited close to 90 locations for this drop boxes for all over the county. And majority of our drop boxes locations will be the county libraries, city libraries, campus locations, San Jose State, and then we have elementary schools, high schools, union school districts. We have drop boxes in those locations. And county buildings, we have drop boxes on county buildings. We have one here at the 70 West heading. We have a big box at our registered voter locations. And the Valley Health Hospitals, we have drop boxes over there too. We also have inside locations for our drop boxes. These boxes are available during business hours. All the city halls, we have drop boxes on our 15 city halls here in the county. Some of them, they're inside, some of them are also outside. Security, our drop boxes are secured. Most of the boxes that's assigned at the outside locations are, it has the security of cabled. They're attached to the cable. There's seals and locks all over those boxes. So they are ADA compliance. So everything by the rules or regulations. Remote accessible vote by mail. This is under California law. It allows registered voters with disabilities as well as military and overseas voters only to use the remote accessible vote by mail system. Instead of using a paper ballot, they can access an electronic version of the ballot, which can be marked using their own assistive technology at home. They must print their ballot summary and return it to registered voters for their ballots to be counted. Their ballot selection are not transmitted electronically through the internet. This is available. This is our screenshot of our website, Santa Clara County Registered Voters website. At the vote by mail section, there's an accessible section there that the voter needs to get in, and then they need to click the remote accessible vote by mail. And once they click that, they need to fill the sections for their residence address, election, which is default already, which election is going to be, and birth date of the voter. And they need to click, and this is for to confirm their eligibility that they're either one of the two category, which is the voter with disability or military overseas voters, and they're certified that above is a true statement. And the next screenshot is if they need to see the return or print the return instructions, they have to click that section, and it's a copy of the return instructions. And then when they're done, they could go to click to ballot marking application. Once they do that, it will take them, okay. And then this is a video of how to fill the form, how to vote on remote accessible vote by mail.
Hello, and welcome to Secure Select, an accessible online application that provides voters with a simple and secure way to mark, review, and print their ballot from their own device. Step 1 of 3 is the first page a voter will begin their ballot marking experience on. Voters are able to make selections like you would on a traditional ballot before reviewing them and confirming your choices on the next page. If you try to vote for more choices than allowed, Secure Select will inform you of your overvote. In order to change your selection, you must first deselect a previous selection in that contest or measure, then select the option you'd like to vote for. When doing a write-in, first select the checkbox next to the write-in option, then enter the write-in you'd wish to vote for in the field provided. At any point, you may use the Continue button at the bottom of the page to move on to reviewing your ballot. This is page 2, the ballot selection review page. On this page, you are able to review the selections you've made. You will be given a notice on any contests or measures that you haven't chosen all the available number of selections you may make. To change any of your selections, use the Change button located next to each contest or measure. The Change button will return you back to the ballot marking page at the contest you've selected and allow you to make changes you would like. Once you are done marking, you may click the Go Back to Review Page button and return to the review page to make further changes or confirm your choices by pressing the Continue button and moving on to the ballot printing page. To print your ballot, select the blue Print Selections button. You will be presented with the same print dialog box you encountered when printing anything else in the web browser you are using. Follow the prompts your device gives you to print off your ballot and confirm it printed correctly before moving on. Once you have printed your ballot and verified that it is correct, You may return your ballot to your local elections office with the instructions they've provided. The ballot you receive from Secure Select will not visually match the traditional ballot you'd receive at your local polling location. Instead, your ballot will print with the contest and measures listed in the order they appeared, with only the selections you made shown after. Above that, you will see the election name, your voting precinct and split, and your ballot style. Pause this video on this screen to further examine an example of this ballot, or contact your local elections office for further information.
My name is Chen Xiye. I'm with GIS Mapping Division. Today I'm going to talk about the process of using geographic information system to select vote center locations. So VCA is a new voting method, and voting locations is one of the major changes. We want to use data to help us find the best locations available. We consider 3 factors in the selection process: facility, socioeconomic, and geographic factor. Precinct operations and vote-by-mail divisions are covering the facility aspect and focusing on the rest too. To begin, we have collected data from American Community Survey, RV database, public transportation, and county GIS data. We analyze this data using our geographic information system software and then visualize the results into maps. I'm going to talk a bit more about the geographic factor. We have established boundaries as guidelines to help us distribute vote center locations evenly across the county. So facility factors is very important, but if that's the only factor we look at, we may end up with a lot of clustering in some areas, while in other areas, voters will have to travel long distance to get to any vote center. To avoid that from happening, we have divided the county into 25 areas for 11 days vote center, 120 areas for 4 days vote center. And for ballot drop boxes, we have 80 areas. So how do we establish these boundaries? We follow 2 rules: number and geography. Firstly, number rule. Each 11-day vote center serves about 50,000 voters. Each 4-day vote center serves about 10,000 voters. And each ballot drop box serves 15,000 voters. And on the geographic side, we try our best to follow city boundaries, as you can see in this map, and then neighborhoods, major roads, and local roads. After establishing these boundaries, precinct operations and vote-by-mail divisions are trying their best to recruit one location for each of this area. So what if we have multiple options? Then we'll look into socioeconomic factor. We have established a suitability model we call DOTS. And this DOTS model considers the following criteria. The states requires this criteria to be considered in the location selection process. So how does this model work? We divided the county into 0.5-mile grids, as you can see in this image. And for each of this factor, we give it a score from 1 to 5. For example, we want to place vote center locations close to population centers, so we assign a high score of 5 to areas with high population density and low score of 1 to areas with low population density. And after we analyze each individual factors, we add up the score to get a total score. And this map shows the total score for the entire county. The darker color blue represent higher score, and the lighter color yellow represent lower score. So higher score means this area meet more of the criteria we mentioned before. Then we overlay the potential vote center locations on top of this model. So preference is given to areas that fall into the darker area, which means these locations are meeting more of the criteria. To summarize, facility, geographic and socioeconomic factors work together to help us find the best locations available.
Thank you, Shenchi. So again, my name is Paulo Cheng. I'm with Precinct Operations. And before I tell you what I'm going to talk about, I just want to tell you that this division, what we do is we go out there and we find the vote center locations and then recruit the staff that will be working during the election period. So vote centers overview, we are looking into finding approximately 125 vote centers throughout the county that will be open prior to election day, up to election day. Voters will have 11 days, including 2 weekends, to vote. 20% of these vote centers will open on February 22nd, Saturday, 10 days prior to election day. The rest of the vote centers will open on February 29th, the second Saturday, 3 days prior to election day. We will also have new technology, which will enable all the voters to vote anywhere in Santa Clara County, and this will enable them to vote their local home ballot type. These vote centers, they will also provide most services available at the Registrar of Voters office. Vote center implementation. The vote centers, they'll be open 8 hours per day prior to election day. On election day, just like in the past, the vote centers will be open 7 a.m. until 8 o'clock, or the last person in line gets their right to vote. Voters' Choice Act Voter Center Guidelines. As my colleague Chen-Chi mentioned, we did divide the county into 50,000 voter areas, and then these areas are going to tell us that these are the areas where we need to have one 11-day vote center for the election. And then we've split those 50K areas into 10K areas. In each one of those 10K areas, we'll have one vote center that is open 4 days in total. So 3 days prior to election, including one election day. So to do this, or to aim, or to help us out, we created a grid. The grid is telling us the areas in the county where we have the need for these vote centers. And this is the number that tells us how many vote centers we'll need. To again, help us selecting the correct, the best location for these vote centers, we looked into several demographic criteria, of which Shen-Chi has already mentioned in her presentation. The site selection itself, to find the best placement, we look into the 14 location considerations, but most of all, it depends on the site itself, how available it is to us, and a mix of other criteria for that specific vote center that we are looking into. For the staffing and training, just as in the past, anyone that is wanting to help us at the vote centers, they'll be trained accordingly. We will rely on many hourly county workers, so anyone who wants to help us in the future, they'll have to actually become county employees for the period of the election processing. We'll also be counting, of course, on many stipend workers. These are the volunteers that have helped us in the past, and also high school students. We've had several hundred of high school students help us in the past. We're absolutely confident to find more to help us out. We will have, of course, leads at each vote center, the persons in charge of the vote center per se. We'll have the clerks, and then we have the aides, and all of these will help us in processing the voters and also provide a means to have the voters come into the vote center and find the correct line so they can go and get the service completed so they can vote in time. The time of employment, that will range approximately between 21 days and 14 days. It depends on the amount of work they'll be putting in with us and how many days they will need to train to be able to help us out in election day. Information, if you need to find more information, of course, you can always find it on our website at www.sccgov.org, including information for helping us out and employment with us at the vote centers. The outreach goal, of course, we have a big outreach plan for this, and the outreach plan is to highlight the voting model transition and then inform the voters of the upcoming changes. So we want to make sure that the voters feel competent and confident in coming over to the vote centers and vote under this new voting model. We also, of course, want to educate and improving the voter experience with the new vote center model. We want to identify and increase participation in underperforming communities. We also welcome public engagement. We are also building partnerships to expand civic engagement opportunities within all communities of all groups. We have established a coalition. We have many CBOs participating and being able to help us in their own community with the supplies, with the VCA supplies that we can provide them. And this coalition is called the Voter Education and Outreach Coalition, or VOC for short. So then outreach, our goal is of course to provide voter education literature, civic and local government resources. That is the extent of what we can do. So let me just pass this over.
Good evening. My name is Liz Oviedo with the Ballot Layout Division. I'll be talking briefly about languages, official ballots, and county voter information guides. Santa Clara County is federally mandated to provide written materials in Chinese, Spanish, Tagalog, and Vietnamese, in addition to English. The state currently mandates our county to provide facsimile ballots in Korean and Khmer in targeted areas. In recent years, we were also mandated to provide Hindi and Japanese. As part of the implementation of the Voters' Choice Act, our department would be producing official ballots for the March 3rd, 2020 primary election in English, Spanish, Chinese, Tagalog, Vietnamese, Korean, Khmer, Japanese, and Hindi. All ballot language versions will be produced for the optical scan paper ballots, accessible touchscreen ballots, marking devices, accessible audio ballots, and remote accessible ballots for the military, overseas, and voters with disabilities. This chart shows a comparison for the amount of ballots created in the presidential primary election in 2016 and what we are projecting that we are going to produce in 2020. So in comparison, we estimate that we'll be generating twice as many unique ballot types. These numbers are based on the amount of ballot types in the primary election, which is typically over 100 ballots, times the languages, times the parties. The county voter information guides, also known as civics, are produced also by ballot types, languages, and parties. The vote centers and the website will be equipped with e-books, which is an electronic version of the civics. The county voter information guides and e-books will be produced in the 5 federally mandated languages, which is English, Chinese, Spanish, Tagalog, and Vietnamese. The county voter information guides, I'm sorry, all right, never mind. The Voters' Choice Act expands the languages. In conclusion, the Voters' Choice Act expands the language services countywide. For example, if a voter lives in South County and speaks a certain language and works in North County, they will be able to go to any vote center and request a ballot type of their language that they prefer. The VCA implementation provides language assistance at vote centers and increases the amount of bilingual ballot materials. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Eric Curhey with Public and Legislative Affairs. At the Public and Legislative Affairs Division, we serve to let the community and media know about developments in a couple of different ways. One way is direct outreach to media outlets, letting the newspapers, television, radio, and online sources know that there's something newsworthy going on, and we certainly consider voters' choice to be a newsworthy topic. We've issued press releases on the adoption of VCA, as well as announcing the opportunities for public input that led to the creation of this election administration plan. And if you heard about this meeting through the media, it was likely due to yesterday's press release. Going forward toward implementation, we will be mounting a campaign to keep media outlets informed and hopefully interested in the upcoming changes and announce opportunities for the public to come learn about the Voters' Choice Act as well as our new voting technology. This will include information about accessibility options in our new voting model and system, as well as the improved options for those who speak another language. Public and Legislative Affairs also handles the advertising component. We have historically advertised in more than 30 media outlets in all formats: print, television, radio, online, VTA buses, and more. We advertised when we were looking for folks to volunteer at the polls. And we advertised when we wanted to let people know about vote by mail or their early voting options. This time, we're looking at a considerably larger campaign. Before, it was during the 6 to 8 weeks leading up to the election. This time, we're looking at about 3 times that long to get the word out early and then really inundate folks before the election. We've previously run ads in publications such as Epoch Times, Vietnam Daily, World Journal, and other publications that are read by language minority communities. We're expanding our roster of publications, and based on input we've gleaned from public EAP meetings, are looking into adding some specific outlets such as shopper ad papers you'll find at ethnic markets. This outreach effort includes public service announcements. We have a sample PSA on our website that we are in the process of translating and plan to put it out through our vendor networks as well as community partners. The advertising and PSAs will include information about the toll-free voter assistance hotline for languages, as well as the availability of ballots in accessible format and how to get a remote accessible vote-by-mail ballot. We are also sending out 2 mailers to every registered voter in the county to let them know about the change. We also handle the social media component. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Nextdoor. We have daily posts on a variety of election-related subjects, and our Voters' Choice Act promotion began immediately following its approval in April. We did multiple posts about the EAP and this public hearing, and we'll be using all platforms and boosting posts leading into VCA implementation. That includes targeting specific areas around our vote centers to let people know where their new vote location will be. We've got some other new things up our sleeves and are in talks with local sports franchises to help get the word out. We're excited about the potential here, as well as other ways to educate more Santa Clara County residents about the upcoming changes to the election model. This is by far the biggest ad campaign the Registrar of Voters has ever undertaken, and it's coming together right now. We're excited. You'll be seeing our ads out there soon as we roll out your new voting experience. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mike Fong. I am with the Elections Logistics and Voting Systems, and tonight I will be talking about the voting security, the ballot return, and the voting equipment. First of all, the ROV have 2 facilities that we utilize to house these voting equipment, and they are under the surveillance system. They are under the secure network, and they have very limited access to the locations where it has to be gone through with the badge access and when they can come and go or who can come and go to these facilities. First is the burger facility, and where the public-facing side, if you're looking at the image, the top portion is where the public-facing side is. This is where all the activity that you get to view, where the ballots are returned, activities are happening. And in the back of the building is where the trucks that are leaving to do things such as drayage or supply for the locations on election day or the 11 days worth. This is a junction location. Again, the public-facing side is where all the activity happens. And from the back of the building and the side of the building where all the supplies and equipment are deployed. We do have a drayage operation that we utilize different types of vehicles, and all the materials that are being transported will be under safe, locked, packaged, sealed, so that when it gets to the voting center location, it will be properly, in a sense, unpackaged and utilized during the election process. To make the supporting of the voting center and its efficiency, I am going to be deploying logistics and supply centers. This is where we will have 20 of these large trucks with additional supplies that are needed at the vote centers, and there will be additional vehicles that provide either tier 1 technical support and or logistics support, where on the average, we will be serving two site per vehicle or 6 sites per truck. This is a layout of where the supply locations are going to be throughout the county. They are at the 20 strategically placed so that we can provide support to these vote centers in a short notice. And for returning the ballots on election during the evening time, we will be using multiple versions of couriers where they will be dropping off what we call payload or the ballots, and or dropping off ballots where we picked up from the boxes. This is the overview of our burger facility. This is where when the ballots are returned, they are strategically placed or routed to location where the envelopes are either processed or the ballots are processed or your votes are tallied on election the evenings of the 11 days worth. The voting equipment that we will be deployed at the vote centers are the tabulating machines. It could be as little as 2, many as 3. We have accessible ballot marking devices. It could be as little as 5 and many as 8. And electronic poll books could be as little as like 6 and as many as 11 at this time. But if we need more, as precinct operations need, there will be additional equipment on the trucks. And we have ballot on demand printers. It could be as little as 2 and many as 5. And for the ballot scanner or the tallying machines that we use at the office, we will have 8 small ballot scanners. These are for small batches. And we will have 10 scanners. These are large quantity scanning ballot scanners. And we will have 16 workstations to review the ballots. And of course, after all the ballots are tallied, we will be having what we call package and seal, where this is, in a sense, organized, processed, and stored so that when we need to retrieve any ballots to verify or to do recounts, we know where to get it and where it was placed. And the technology that we are deploying at this time is Cisco phones for the customer service, Tier 1 technical support plan, secure connection at the vote centers, and we are heavily involved in cybersecurity, preparedness, and awareness. And we have a track it system for verification of what materials are coming back. And we have asset management system for accountability of what went out and what came back. That's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to take a quick 5-minute break to give you an opportunity to fill out your comment cards with your questions. Please remember to keep the comments at 1 topic per card. You can write as many questions as you want per topic, but please separate the topics using the separate cards. Additionally, there's extra cards in the back if you need them, and my staff is waiting to hand them out to you if you need them. Thank you. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. So the first question asks, has this new voting program already been implemented elsewhere? If so, has it been successful or have there been any problems?
Yes. In 2018, there were 5 counties that implemented the Voters' Choice Act. And as just for information, for 2020, there's going to be a total of 14 counties that will be implementing, either doing it again for the second time or implementing, which actually equals over 50% of the registered voters in this county, in the state. So the 14 counties will represent over half of the state's registration. So our county and our department have been working with the state, have been working with many of the other counties that implemented in 2018. We have been doing that for over a year. We have gone to the other counties. We have met with our counterparts for each respective division on their topic areas to be able to ask specific questions amongst the person who implemented that piece in another county. We have statewide working group calls that we can all learn and ask questions about experiences and how other counties implemented. So we have been studying the other counties and working with the state. And overall, all of the other counties had a successful implementation. I think we got to learn what their challenges were, what their successes were, what issues we should be looking at, and that's why we started this process so early that we could be working on this. And what we're hearing, the challenging issues from the other counties that implemented in 2018 were recruiting locations for vote centers because of the number of days that a location needs to be open and available to our office, whereas before polling places were just one day. So it was a little easier to get those, but that was 850 locations, like in the November 2018 election. So now with our 125 locations, we're unable to use many of the polling places we used before because they were suitable at that time for the size for a polling place. But because now these are kind of more like mega centers, with more voting equipment, additional voting equipment, accessible equipment, we have to find bigger locations to be able to process. So we were aware that that may be an issue coming up. We are actually doing very well in our vote center recruitment. We're down to the last probably 20%, and having some issues in certain areas, just more challenges finding a location, which we're still in the process of doing. The other issue that other counties as challenges face, they said, was recruitment also of like election officers or extra help staff to staff the locations. Just as in finding a location, we need it for more days. We also need volunteers or employees to work anywhere from the 2 to 3 weeks that was presented in our presentation to work at the vote centers. So as we're closing off very soon, after we get all of the public feedback on our vote center locations, we will then be focusing a lot on the recruitment of hiring extra help employees. And so that is new for this election coming up in March of 2020. And we will also be continuing the same process that many of you are similar before. And I actually see some election officers from before here in the audience, so they can volunteer and work still as a stipend worker for a few days with a shorter training than the extra help staff who will be working for a longer time. So we have new opportunities, but we think that it will be challenging to locate enough staff to be able to work the longer amount of days and the more time. Was there any other challenges you can think of, Paulo, that I can...
Find a vote center?
We did that one.
Right.
Or just challenges overall in all the lessons you've learned in researching and going to the other counties?
Sure. So one of the biggest challenges we'll have is, of course, all of the volunteers that helped us in the past. You know, we had so many help us throughout the years, but they've helped us for one day. And the challenge now, of course, is that we need them to help us out for up to 11 days. And then how are we going to manage to have them scheduled to be here for all those days at the vote centers? And of course, since in the past you were all volunteers, I would have to ask many of you to, apply with the county and become county employees, even if it's for that seasonal, reason of helping us out at the vote centers. But the challenge is going to be to find less workers as in the past, but then we will ask all of these staff workers to help us commit themselves to work for us for at least one full weekend. And that's because the equipment being new, everything is new, all the things that everyone's been doing in the past has to be revamped. It's a new voting system, new technology. The process itself will be the same, but it's how we're going to achieve making sure that all the voters get to vote this election. And because we're a proud county, we want to make sure that everyone that's going to help us out will commit themselves not only to work at the vote centers, but also make themselves available and commit themselves to come to the classes that we're already planning based on many input that we've learned from other counties and that sort of little things. So yes, there's plenty of challenges, and
we're tackling them.
We're tackling them as we go and learning, and this is a part of it, is to see how the community can help us out.
Thank you. Next question?
Okay, next question. The vote centers are open 13 hours from 7 to 8 p.m., but only open for 8 hours. Are they closed for 5 hours, or are the starting time or closing time staggered?
On election day, the vote centers will be open, what you're used to, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Before election day, in the 10 days before, the vote center times are still to fully be set. Most likely they would be open 8 hours, but they will range. It won't be like from, an 8 to 5 kind of thing totally. We want to be able to have some that are open more into the evening, so they can stagger, so that it will provide people opportunities to go vote after work. So my understanding is about 8 hours a day, but they will change. They will stagger.
Right. And so to clarify, right, the requirement is right for the ones that are open prior to election day, that is at least 8 hours a day that they have to be open. But on election day itself, the 7 to 8, they are all open from 7 to 8. So they were two different things. Prior to election day, at least 8 hours, but it can be staggered. On election day itself, they're all open from 7 to 8, which are the classic voting hours.
Thank you. Okay. I think we're ready for the next question.
How does the word precinct apply under the new voting system? How does the word precinct apply under the new voting system?
So we will still have precincts. We will organize our voters into precincts for reporting purposes. That is still something that we are going to be required to do under the law. However, the precinct is not as important anymore in determining where somebody votes, because now, regardless of what precinct you live in, you can go to any voting location in the county, and there's really there's no direct correlation between precincts and vote centers. So the precinct really just becomes now a reporting category, like a geographic reporting area for us. So when you look at, for example, our statement of vote, where we break down all the election results by precincts, that will still have precinct numbers associated with it. But from the voter standpoint, they won't really worry about I'm in this precinct or that precinct. It's just I can go to any vote center that I choose to go to.
Okay, next question. Does the population boundaries 50K, 10K account for the daytime population change?
Okay, so that data that we talked about, it's based on our current voter registration plus 50% of the population that are not registered. We currently only account for, on the census side, only account for residential address, where they live, because census is already something, the data is already readily available. But for daytime, tracking where people go to work, we don't have that kind of data. So we do our best, and we use the data that's available.
Okay, next question. How are the ballots cast in the vote centers, 8-hour day, secured until centers close on election night?
So the majority of ballots that are cast at a vote center will be put into a ballot scanner / tabulator that is actually going to, we're going to have a few at each vote center. And so the way that it works is once the voter finishes filling out their paper ballot, they will feed it into the ballot tabulator, which will actually scan the ballot and tally it, count it. It'll store the results on a memory cartridge, and then the tabulator basically drops the ballot down into a secure and locked receptacle. So that receptacle is locked. We keep it sealed, and just like we would with a traditional ballot box until the end of the day, and then we have a process by which we open the seal and we account for all of the ballots, and then we transport them back securely to our office on a nightly basis. And we do have a series of chain of custody protocols that we follow for that. So that's how most of the ballots cast will go into that tabulator. The exceptions to that would be a provisional ballot or a conditional voter registration ballot, or the VBM ballots where people are just dropping them off. They fill it out at home, but then they're bringing it in to drop off. And so those, just like at a traditional polling place, we're going to have sealed and secure ballot boxes or ballot bags at each vote center. And so those will be deposited. Those will be in envelopes deposited into those ballot boxes, which then, following a similar protocol, at the end of the day, we will break the seals on those and follow our steps to get those accounted for and transported to our office. We do also have plans in place that if we end up with having a high volume and we need additional ballot boxes, we are going to have secure rolling cages that are kind of on carts that we will be able to put the excess ballot boxes into those secure cages just for the duration of the day until we clear them out at the end of the day.
I'll call up the next speaker, Emilian Ramos. Do you want to come up and talk?
Hi. I submitted. Oh, this one. Oh, wow, that's clever.
Yeah.
I submitted 2 comment cards. So, which one am I allowed to speak on?
This one is on the accessibility.
For the unhoused population?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was looking through the website and through the voter action plan. We have a growing homeless population as shown in the recent county report. And I wanted to know if we have a voter accessibility plan for our unhoused neighbors. I was, before we went through the whole Voters' Choice Act, I scanned online and found the National Coalition of Homeless had a great thing about like voting rights for the unhoused. But the stuff that they had was not updated to include what we have for the Voters' Choice Act. And I understand outreach was going to be difficult for this population, but is there like some place that they can go to just so that they know their voting rights, and how does that affect the Voters' Choice Act?
Well, in general, about knowing, where can they go to know about their voting rights, I mean, they can come to our office, they can call us at any time. We have information on our website, which may not always be accessible, but at any vote center during the 11 days that they're open, they can go to any one of those vote centers, and we can give them information on their rights, and we can also register them right there that day if they're not registered, and then they can vote a conditional voter registration and do a conditional voter registration ballot. Is that answer?
Yeah, I just
most of
couldn't
it?
find it on the website or in the plan, and so
Okay.
that caused me some concern of how it would, because you had so much new accessibility levels, now that people can actually register at the voting,
Yeah.
which is wonderful. It's like the best thing ever.
Yes.
But like, what does that mean does that mean that that's accessible for the unhoused population?
Yes, it is. They would have the same accessibility as any voter. Currently, we take registrations if someone does not have, an address to list as their living residence. We currently take cross streets are the best next that we can tell which ballot, which area they live in, so we can precinct them to give them one of our hundreds or thousands of different ballot types. So yes, they're going to have the same opportunities as a voter that lists a residential address on their voter registration card.
And even if they have to move their RV every 72 hours, how does that work when it's a different cross street each time?
Well, they should, either if they're at the time that they're going to go to vote, they can re-register with a new cross street. If it's different than the one that they're already registered at, that is not a problem. And they can change their voter registration every day online or by card or coming into our office leading up to that. But at whatever time they're going to vote, if they're not currently at that address that they may be registered, or they're not registered at all, it's not a problem with the new great conditional voter registration that they can do at any of the vote centers.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I did have another question, which you asked ahead of time, and that's what brought me to ask too.
Sorry about that. You can continue if you have.
Oh, wonderful. So it was about the voting boundaries with the 10K and dividing it by 10K and 5K and the daytime populations. And it's great to hear that it was the 50, that you did the voting register by 50%. But I'm concerned because, like, for example, Palo Alto, their population like triples in the daytime because they're ridiculous with their jobs, housing, and balance. And the same for most of the peninsula cities. And we all know that like around this time, it's like a nightmare coming down 101 from that area to this area. So it's hard to say if like how voters will actually choose to vote with the expanded times, but I'm just concerned that those areas will be filled with people obviously who are living there, but they may not live there, but like work there, but they live in San Jose, but you're counting their voting down in San Jose in terms of their vote center numbers. And is there a way that when this actually rolls out in the presidential primary, that we are tracking that and seeing that some areas are used more and others are less?
Well, we definitely will be able to see, like you said, coming up in the primary and tracking. I mean, we'll be able to see the vote centers that have more activity, have more ballots dropped off, et cetera, like you're saying, so that maybe in the future we can look at an additional vote center near those areas. But for now, for this election, we have not established them all because we want to get the public feedback. So we definitely can take what you said into consideration to see if we're able to increase in certain areas.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I can talk a little bit more about daytime population. We actually want to take that into consideration, but we, just look into the options and there's no good data available. But, we tried. So like in the areas where we see, we think there will be more jobs close to city centers, we actually make the number a little bit smaller than, 50,000, and then in the more residential area, we can, accommodate more people because it's less likely for people to, go to residential area out of their way to vote.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Okay, next question. What happens when a person votes by mail, then decides to vote in person at a voting center?
That is a great question, and we have a great answer for that. If someone has already voted, our system, election management system, which will be accessed at every vote center through a new electronic poll pad, like a tablet, where we're going to be looking up voters. Our system will show us at every vote center that the person has already voted. So we are also switching from signing in on the roster to these poll pads, which will serve that purpose, that we can also look up this voter and tell if they have already voted. So instead of the paper roster that you used to go and sign in at a polling place, now we will be, the workers at the staff at the vote centers will be able to look you up on our electronic device and enter into the information that will be current with our current voter registration information and the vote by mail information. So we can tell if a voter has already cast a ballot, and then we would not give the person a new ballot to vote if we can already show that he or she voted. Now, I do want to remind you that there are provisional ballots. People who may have seen those in prior elections may be familiar with that. We cannot deny anyone the right to vote when they come to a polling place. But if in this situation we have already determined that the person has voted and they insist and demand to vote, we will allow them to vote, but they then must place their ballot into a provisional envelope, which is kept separate, is not tallied at the vote center, and then that provisional ballot envelope, just like in the past, will come back to our office. We will look up the voter and all of their information that they've completed on the envelope, and then that ballot will not count or be opened, and the envelope will never be unsealed because they've already cast a ballot. So we'll be able to determine that in all these cases.
Okay, are your counting machines isolated from the worldwide net? If not, how do you ensure that they cannot be hacked?
Yes, our tabulation system is completely air-gapped, meaning it's on a private network where the tabulators are only connected to themselves and to the central tabulation server. So they're not touching like our internal counting network or any external internet or anything like that. The tabulation devices that are put out at each vote center similarly are completely offline. They don't transmit the results back to us. We actually physically remove the memory card out of the machine and drive that back to our office to plug it in. We also have a number of security protocols in place, such as, we won't take USBs that were plugged into the computer outside and plug it back into one of the terminals that is hooked up to our tabulation system. And in fact, when we post the election results on our webpage, what we're actually doing, that's not like a live feed from our tabulation system. What we're actually doing is exporting a copy of the results, putting that onto a USB drive, and then we walk that over to another computer that is on the, that is connected to the internet, and we upload those results. So the results that you're seeing from home are actually only a snapshot, a copy. So even if somebody were to try to attack that results webpage, they actually wouldn't change our votes, the actual results. And we have a protocol where we quarantine those USBs after they've been plugged into the internet-connected computer so that they don't come back and touch our secure network.
Okay, next question. Did I hear you say you are tabulating or counting the votes at the vote centers after the close on election night?
Actually, they're going, yes. The tabulation machine, when a voter goes to vote, they take their paper ballot and they're going to put it in the tabulation machine, and which that machine actually, first, which is another thing we didn't mention, is a positive, is that the machine, the system will tell a voter, one, if they've overvoted where they marked too many choices than they're supposed to, or if they undervoted, maybe it was a vote for 3 and they only voted for 2. So the system will at least bring to the voter's attention, you know, you counted, you marked too many, you need to change that, or would you like to vote for, because you undervoted, and the voter has the option to change it. But so if the voter, you know, once they run it through the equipment and they cast the ballot, it will then tabulate it into the cartridge, into the system, like and Matt said earlier, and drop their physical paper ballot into a secure bucket, you know, well, I call it a bucket, underneath the tabulation. So the tabulation then, on after the end of election night, that cartridge, for lack of a better word, the cartridge will then be brought back to the Registrar of Voters office, where we can upload it into our system, and then all of the tabulation of all the votes comes together for what we post on election night.
Okay, next question. Does the scanner tabulator detect mismarked ballots and return to voter for correction?
Yes, as just explained, but yes.
Okay, and the last question I have, the individual didn't put a name but would like to come up and speak if that was you.
Hello again. How are you?
Pretty good. I think you kind of answered it. I was concerned when you said that every day it's tabulated, and I've heard stories of like voting changed. I guess when you talked about the security, I'm still concerned that by the time they get the results, it's changed the vote. I also have a concern, what if they vote and they realize that they don't want to vote that way? Is there any way of changing their vote?
So, great questions. So the first thing to understand, we actually are going to offer 2 kind of options for voting in the vote center. So one option is to actually just get a physical paper ballot that you're going to take a pen and mark your choices together. And so that it wouldn't include any kind of electronic interface at all. The other way is we will have accessible ballot marking devices. And so what that is, it's kind of like the touch screen that we use now, except at the end, instead of storing the ballot directly on that machine's memory, it's actually going to print out the ballot with the selections marked on it. And then in both cases, either the hand-marked paper ballot or the machine printed ballot, the voter has a chance to look that over and make sure that all of their selections are marked correctly, and then they're going to feed that into the tabulator. So there is an option. I mean, there is, first off, importantly, there's a paper trail that's created that the voter has a chance to verify, but then the voter has the chance to make sure that the selections were marked accurately before they cast it. So, right, there were reports recently of the vote flipping, which is actually like a screen calibration issue. But you know, a voter would be able to detect that was happening before they cast that paper ballot. So we think that that's a really crucial thing. And some of the other states where they have those issues, they don't have a paper trail. But here we do. The other thing that we have in California is we have mandated post-election audits. So what we'll do is we'll take random samplings of those paper ballots and then do a manual tally of them and compare those to the electronic results. So if we can detect if there's any patterns of, you know, something happened to the results, whether that was through malicious action or just kind of error. And we, with the new equipment that that we are in the process of implementing, that will be deployed at the vote centers, we also have a feature called adjudication, where if we see like a voter made an error in how they marked the ballot, and that caused the machine to read it wrong, like they crossed out their choice and then they circled the one that they really wanted to do, we can actually go in and override how the machine interpreted that mark, so that we can make sure that the voter's intent was captured. And then what the system does is it creates an audit trail of any action that we took on those ballots, so that if observers wanted to come in, we generally have like campaigns and candidates who want to come in and just kind of make sure that our processes are secured, or sometimes just interested citizens, we can go back and show them the logs for each and every ballot, and show them an image of the ballot, what it looked like. We can find the paper ballot if they want to look at that, and then also compare that to how the system read and interpreted and tallied each individual ballot. So with our new equipment that we're deploying alongside the VCA, we actually have a much higher degree of transparency and auditability. So we think that this is going to be a very secure system for everybody, and we can demonstrate that to anybody who's interested.
And then though, if they have already cast their ballot, just like we have had all before, it's the same, that once it's cast, they wouldn't be able to change it then, just that last option. Yeah. Okay. You're welcome.
Okay, this ends our comments on the comment cards. Does anybody want to come up and get comments reiterated, or was it not your question not clarified? Okay.
Okay. Well, if we have more time, if you had any more comments, but I do again want to appreciate you taking the time to review our plan, to provide us feedback on the plan, and to ask us questions here. Again, if you think of some feedback, or you're perusing the plan, the 250-something page plan this holiday weekend, we are still taking feedback up through September 4th, next Wednesday. So you have time to go to our website or email us any of your feedback. We also, in case you have friends or people you know are interested in another hearing that we're holding, next Wednesday night here in the same location from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. we will be doing the same presentations as we did tonight, and taking more feedback from the public. But I just want to say that it's been a wonderful experience. We have been 2 months of taking feedback into developing the plan and our actual draft plan, and we couldn't do it without all of you, the public, who are providing us their comments and feedback and ideas and locations ideas and ideas for where to do our advertising and our multilingual efforts. So I just want to thank you all very much for taking the time to come tonight, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you.